the VODs are starting, and we are going to have Nani starting off here at the 9 o'clock position, and it's going to be close ground spawns, so I think we may see some early aggression, depending on how both players play. I don't see any fast expand builds coming from either of these players. Right now, both Terran, Protoss, and I should say all three races have a very, very efficient fast expand build, whether it's Gateway Forge into fast expand or even just Forge fast expand. You can create a nice hook here at your natural choke point. And yeah, same thing with Terran. They can go 1 Rax fast expand. They could even go factory fast expand against Zerg, or even a, I guess, factory fast expand into a Hellion with blue flame drop on a Protoss, and it just murders their workers. Usually the Protoss, because of their fast expand build, it's usually all the way, like I said, with a hook out in front. All their units are up front, all their defenses are up front, and drops can work really well if they are unexpected. But nothing crazy coming from either of these players right now. I'll pull up the production menu so you guys can see what's going on behind the scenes. The timings look fairly normal here for these players. Nothing irregular, no real fast barracks. Of course, this is not on the new patch. This is not on 1.1.2. This is just 1.1. So barracks does still only require a command center. It does not require this first supply depot. But Morrow here is going to be getting a little bit of harass here from Nani. Nani not quite, or sorry, Nani not quite as good as Huck with his probe harassment, but it's still going to be a little bit effective nonetheless. Morrow did have to pull 1 SCV off to defend it, but he is now queuing up that Marine, so Nani's going to have to get that probe out of there ASAP. He did see the orbital command come up, and he has seen the refinery, so he knows that there isn't something super crazy going on. Morrow looks like he wants to wall off his choke point. This is a little peculiar against a Protoss player. I'm not really sure what he's planning on in this situation. The SCV has not been out to scout, I don't think, unless it's been killed. No scouting info has come, but since Nani's probe did find him so fast, he must assume that they are close spawn distances, and he may have been expecting some kind of double gate play and maybe some early pressure with zealots, but that is not the case. Double gas is up. The second gas is just now being saturated, and that is clear that he may be going for some kind of Robotech or maybe Stargate tech for some early aggression as well. Stargates are very effective. Unfortunately though, the Phoenix bug is not fixed in this patch. Next patch it will be. I think it is live on the US and Korea servers right now, but EU server is left in the dust. The first Zealot did come out here for Nani. That's going to protect him against any Marines, but if a Marauder did poke up, he'd be in a lot of trouble. Morrow being a little bit ballsy here, going for a barracks with a reactor, walling off, and then going for a early command center. So likely we're going to see the 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th barracks come up now. I would like to see a factory just as well. If he has to go into a starport tech against Colossus, or if he wants to go into any drops or get some siege tanks out, factory is always a good thing to have, especially considering if you really want to get to medevacs quick or Vikings to fend off the Colossi. If you don't have your factory built, you're going to have to build it and the starport, so it can take quite a while. But it looks like Morrow's just going to focus on some Marines. He does have his 2nd and 3rd barracks coming up. Still hasn't picked up his 2nd gas. That is very common for a Terran player when they are fast expanding. You don't need all that extra gas. As you can see, Morrow here has got sufficient gas in his bank right now. He's got almost 200, or sorry, almost 300, but he did spend some on a tech lab. So his 2nd barracks is going to have a tech lab, likely to produce some Marauders or maybe to get Stim going, but it's really tough to say right now. A lot of players do like to do some kind of timing push after a fast expand with Stim and Combat Shield, and that might be what we're seeing here. We do have the 3rd barracks coming up with a tech lab as well, so we might get some double research here on the Marines and see some early Marine aggression, and that can be very effective against a Protoss player that's going for robotics units. You don't have your Colossi up quite in time, but and of course Immortals are just terrible against Marines, but that is a little bit too far in the future to really see right now. Nani throwing up his 3rd Gateway and a Twilight Council. I'm curious if he's going to grab Charge or Blink. He did research Blink, but then he canceled it and switched to Charge. I do like that. Charge is very effective against Terran. It allows your Zealots to close the gap and just get in there a lot faster. Zealots are so potent mid-game with Charge, but without it they're just I don't know, not very effective against Terran, because I'm sure you know this, but all Terran units are ranged, none of them are melee, and Morrow's just bunkering up here, putting one bunker with four Marines in him, not really putting too much into the defense, but also just making sure that he's protected against any kind of early push that might be coming. And he probably does expect that there is an Overseer in his base by now, since he's not gotten a push and there is no expand, although I don't think... Morrow has still really not scouted at all. He's gotten to the front door, but nothing else. He does have an SCV here getting close to the back of Nani's base. I don't think he's going to build a starport there. That would be pretty funny, but maybe he's just checking for any type of Ninja expansion, and that looks to be the case because he is heading out. Ninja expanding as a Terran can be pretty effective because if you do make it an orbital command, you can just fly it away if it does get spotted. And of course it allows you to easily take a gold expansion as well with a planetary fortress, as long as it's close enough to your base that your Marauders, your Marines, or anything can be mobile enough to go and defend it. Still working off only one gas right now. Morrow's just now putting up his second. He's getting an engineering bay, more than likely for maybe a turret or two, but more than likely than that for the upgrades, as he is now tacking on his 5th and 6th barracks. He is going for straight up Marine Marauder play. He does have, he doesn't have combat shield. That is something that I figured he would have had by now. It seemed like he was focusing more on Marines, but he has switched into a little bit heavier Marauder play. I do like that because Marines by themselves can get absolutely ripped apart by Zealots or, I guess, backed up with sentries because of Guardian Shield. And it looks like an SCV got taken out. He was trying to prevent an expansion here from Nani, but Nani is a little bit further behind. If he doesn't get that expansion up, he's going to be in trouble. Storm is not quite done. It is just about finished. If that finishes, he will be in a good position to hold off any push and take that expansion. High Templar are just so effective against Marines. Marauders not so much, but still, when they're all clumped together like the Marine Bioball tends to be, Storm is just so effective. And still no Colossi. I kind of would like to see Nani throw up a Robotics Bay and get a couple Colossi out. If anything, it does help your first push, but it also forces the Terran player to get Vikings. And of course, if they don't have multiple starports, which... wow, Morrow doesn't even have a factory yet, so no starport is anywhere near coming out, but it looks like Morrow is going to push out, and he does have quite the large army. Looking at the army tab, he is about 40 food up on Nani right now, and charge is finished though, Storm is finished. He doesn't have any High Templar in this army here, but he does have those couple sentries. Guardian Shield is so effective against Marines. It reduces their damage by 33%. Very, very effective. Couple High Templar here going to get caught off guard. That is bad news. A couple force fields do get laid down, but it's not in time as those Templar do get sniped off. He did stim up. Stim really not that effective right now for mainly the main reason that he doesn't have any factories or starports to pump out any medevacs, so his units aren't going to get healed up. If he stims too much, he'll be in a lot of trouble. But I think he's going to be in an okay position here. Nani's expansion just got up, and we got some ballsy Marines and Marauders sneaking up the ramp. They're going to try to jump right into the mineral line and kill off some probes. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but the Zealots are going to charge in and try to finish that up. Meanwhile, Nani's just putting up a Guardian Shield, protecting against any other push that might be coming at his main natural. Switching back and forth here. These Marines didn't get many kills, but there's a big engagement going on here, and the Marines and Marauders are causing massive damage here to the Stalkers. The sentry gets taken out, our Guardian Shield is gone, and Morrow's in such a good position. I don't really think there's much that Nani can do, and he does GG. Morrow does take game 1, so some really aggressive... not overly aggressive, but just aggressive enough bio play from Morrow to take game 1. So we are going to be going on to game 2. Stay tuned. And this is once again a best of 7.